No.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh.
No.
Just killed her and his kid.
I just said. Oh. Sucks.
Dude. Oh. You can't even believe it.
Right in the belly?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It's terrible.
God, man. How horrible.
It's lost so much.
Yeah, no.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Oh my gosh, dude. Yeah, dude, there's no stopping him now, dude. You just killed his wife and his... Freaking horrible, dude. I can't even believe that just happened.
Oh, yuck.
Oh!
And he spared him his life.
Dude. This is gonna...
Oh, God, he scared me. That guy is such a coward, man.
Ah. He's stressing me out.
Hammer.
Yes, sir.
That shot, dude. Dude, how do they get...
Oh, he broke the sword! What?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's go time.
Ooh.
Oh.
Somebody get rid of that bearded fool, please. Colorful shirt. This guy, I'm done with this guy. Snake.
Dang.
Oh my gosh, dude. My... Dude. So much more gritty than the first one.
Oh my gosh. Oh man, just stay down.
Oh, now he wants help.
Oh God! My... Dude, this is so intense. This is so intense.
This is aggressive.
Come on.
I know.
Oh, his shrapnel. It's still there.
Honey.
Dad, come on.
Gosh, what is that?
Dang, man.
Dang, dude. Hey, seriously, some water.
Got to breathe.
Are you breathing, Josh?
ಈಗ ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾನೆ?
ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರು ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದಾರಲ್ಲ. There was a mastermind behind all this, and Rocky was going to get rid of that mastermind.
Oh, she hired Adheera and probably helped him.
ಸೂರ್ಯವರ್ಧನ KGF ನ ಯಾವಾಗ ಗರುಡನ ಕೈ ಕೊಟ್ನೋ ಆಗ್ಲೇ ಆ ಕಾಣದ
Yeah, remember?
Yeah, you killed him, remember?
That's right.
Wow. He is the poison.
Was.
The head of the snake was.
Parliament visuals are purely fictitious ones.
Dies
of heart attack.
Sir, Rocky's not here. The room is empty. There's no sign of the gold too, sir. Where is he gone? Rocky, ille. Indian Ocean alidane.
What?
ಆ ಚಿನ್ನ ಬಚ್ಚಿರೋದಕ್ಕಿದ್ದದ್ದು ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಜಾಗ. ಅವನಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೊರಟ. ಅವನು ನೇರವಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ದಾನೆ.
Man,
So he's going down with the ship?
yeah.
This is your last warning. Turn out your engines and prepare for surrender, or we will fire.
They're gonna completely obliterate KGF.
Yeah, I don't know how this is gonna end. Like, where are all these people gonna go?
The bombers are over KGF, waiting for your final orders, madam.
He's gonna sink the gold. Wow, man.
Man.
Do it.
ಅವತ್ತು ಎರಡು ಘಟನೆ ನಡೀತು. ಆ ಜಾಗನೂ ಕೊನೆ ಆಯ್ತು.
Oh my god.
ಅವನನು
ಅಮ್ಮ ಈ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಬಂಗಾರನೆಲ್ಲ ನಿನಗೆ ತಂದು ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಮ್ಮ.
Yeah, like El Dorado, how it's sunk in the ocean. Yeah, that'll make you look away.
ಅವನ ಕೈ ಹಿಡಿದ ಜನರನ್ನ ಅವನು ಕೊನೆವರೆಗೂ ಬಿಡ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ.
Oh, that was a new town that they built?
ಅವನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪುಸ್ತಕ ಬರ್ತು. ಇಡೀ ಪ್ರಪಂಚಕ್ಕೆ ಅವನು ಯಾರು ಅಂತ ತೋರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಸರ್.
ಒಂದು ಪುಟ್ಟ ಹಳ್ಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಒಬ್ಬ ತಾಯಿಯ ಹಠದ ಕಥೆಯಾಗಿ ಹೇಳೋಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತಿದ್ರು. ಆದರೆ ಈ ತಾಯಿಯ ಕಣ್ಣೀರಿಂದ ಬೆಂಕಿನ ಹುಟ್ಟು ರಾಕಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಚರಿತ್ರೆಯನ್ನು ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಯಾಯಿತು.
ನೀವೇ ಹೇಳ್ದಾಗೆ ಅವನು ಗ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಒಬ್ಬನೇ ಬಂದು ನುಗ್ಗಿ ಹೊಡೆದಿರೋ.
That's how it ends. That's nuts, man. That is.
Woo!
You guys, we did it. We have watched
It is
KGF
finished.
Chapter 2. We have done it. After how
Finally.
many months,
Finally.
man? Let's just take a moment and
Yes.
Moment of silence.
and
for
celebrate
this
that.
moment.
Yeah.
Look, this movie was actually phenomenal.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
This-
Compared to the first one, this one,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a lot better.
I really feel like the first one is a complete setup for this.
Epilogue.
It's yeah,
Prologue, you mean?
prologue.
Epilogue is at the end of the book.
Right. So there's a sense of a setup with the first chapter, and then we have a conclusion now in this. I could say a lot, but I'll let you guys go first because this is a lot. This is a jam-packed
Yeah, I mean, so much.
epic we just experienced.
I mean, it's
So much
tragic the way it ended, but
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of loved how it ended though. Like it all just, it makes sense. And I think, I think that question that we were all asking, like, what's his intention behind it and all, I think the way they kind of unraveled that was beautifully done. I feel like there was a lot more character depth into Rocky's character this movie.
This time around,
You get
yeah.
more more insight into his life. This is gonna sound kind of ridiculous, but it kind of reminds me of Top Gun when it comes to knowing a character. And I know Tom Cruise's character in the first one, I'm like, there's probably a lot more to this character. And then in the second one, in Top Gun Maverick, these are very two different movie series, but
No,
when it
but I
comes
could
to
agree with
character
you.
depth,
It's a good
I found a
comparison.
lot more to Tom Cruise's character in Top Gun Maverick than I did in the first one. And that's kind of how I felt with KGF Chapter 2, is where they really, shared more about who Rocky is and why he is the way he is. So,
Yeah, I love the concept of the gold being the main oppressor. Like, I think because of the gold, all these, you know, bad people were corrupting, they were corrupting India. They were um, using people, like enslaving them to work, and there's a lot of like abuse and things surrounding this evil of gold. And the way that it's very poetic, the way that he brings all the gold with him to take it out of India and then sinks with it, and how all of these countries are coming towards him, searching for him, and he's trying to, at the end, just takes this evil with him. um
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just so beautifully poetic, and the way that this woman, fell in love with him and is about to give him a child, and then he's
That was so tragic, man.
That was
very tragic. But yeah, I agree. I love this second one much better. It's a lot of storylines that I think, a lot of concepts that are really great, very poetic. Like I said, I don't know, the word I'm thinking today is tragic and poetic.
poetically
Well, I think
tragic.
Poetically tragic.
it's strange how many different themes you can find in it. And by strange, I mean like not. I wasn't really expecting to see a lot of like poetic or symbolism or themes in a certain way. And you're right. It's hard to really gauge. There's more than one thing going on.
Yeah.
The symbolism of, yes, you're right. I think the gold corrupted a lot of people. These men that became cowards, and then you have like the mom and the relationship that Rocky had with his mom, and the intention he had of keeping his mother's promise, but then one could argue, how righteous was his mother's wish for him and gold, and her desire for that, and as a young kid, when you hear those words, you don't see the flaws in the person as well. So it's, and not to say that the mom was but like no one's perfect, so it's like seeing all these imperfect people. Yeah, it's just very interesting. This movie is is a broken world with a bunch of broken characters, but at the end, you're right, somehow he was able to save the people that were oppressed by KGF for so long, by giving them a new home, without the gold that oppressed them. And yeah, I think definitely I'll be reflecting on what the ending meant, because there was a lot there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Trying to still, like, I'm just kind of speaking through my thoughts right now.
Yeah.
I think it's I probably the reason why there's such a love for these movies, besides just the music and the and the special effects and the action and the Rocky as the character he is. But I feel like whenever you grow with a character and they die, it's such a moving and such an inspiring thing. Like how could the story end with the main character dying? I mean, I as a person that watches movies, as somebody that loves movies, watching Gladiator for the first time definitely hit me, especially after watching a bunch of animated movies and a lot of the kids movies. My transition into what movies can be happened when I saw a main character die. If you haven't seen Gladiator yet, I'm sorry for spoiling it, but that is what happens, and it definitely had a big impact on me. And I think when you experience something like this, a character that you love that dies in kind of a perfect way, and there's such a like a beautiful arc in a way. It was bloody, it was very messy,
Yeah.
but the ultimate arc of his story is beautiful in a way. And it's so incredible that of course you're gonna want to share it with anybody you run into, and I completely understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With just watching the first one, it is like, oh, what are they? But I feel like when the creators were making this story, this was the story they wanted to tell. This right here, you can tell they cared a lot more about this than what they did before.
Right.
Because before was just da 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 da. We gotta get to part two. We gotta get to part two because that's the story we love. That's the story we're trying to tell, and that's what really happened here. Because KGF Chapter 1 was just, it was sped through. It was nothing was really cared about. Characters were mentioned. It didn't really feel like they cared about telling the story as opposed to getting to Chapter 2. Because this one was the heart of KGF, the overall story, in my opinion. Which, I mean, it being the end does kind of wrap it in a bow, and, that is them caring about the whole story, ending it in the way that they did. But definitely connected to this one a lot more, especially that scene where he goes all out. It makes complete sense, if Rocky, somebody that is violent and he's, you know, wealthy and powerful, and he loses the thing he cares about most besides gold, you know, that is going to make you go crazy and do these horrible things to these people that are just evil. And it was definitely gruesome, but it felt like it needed to be there.
Yeah.
A lot more violent and gruesome than I like. I did close my eyes a lot, but it's understandable.
And it didn't
it's
feel
just
pointless.
the theme of the movie. It's the way the movie
Right.
was created, and that's fine.
Right, but like if you see that scene from the last movie where they're at the docks and he's just like obliterating all
Yeah.
these people,
True.
it makes no sense. That him losing his wife and his child at the same time.
Yes.
That, I mean,
That'll do it
being
for
the
you.
person that Rocky is, that'll do
That's
it.
a reason.
That'll do it, and it makes complete sense. Complete sense.
And his history when he was a
not
kid, like
justified,
a lot
but-
of suffering, a lot of, things done to him. He just grew up very broken, and out for vengeance. And there's a lot of plot twists that I wasn't expecting, like his dad,
Yep.
and then the guy at the end that we find out was against him all along, the snake.
With him, I think represents this spirit of revolt and rebellion against oppression, you know, and there is that level of the poor and being and suffering and being tormented by, you know, this greed for gold and for the rich men's pursuit for just fame and glory and greed, just all of that. And there's people that clearly suffered, and I think we see it in Rocky's development as he grows older, where he was hit and constantly just reprimanded. And it wasn't until he fought back that's when the switch happened. And I think that's what gave so much people hope, is someone that would fight back for them. That's probably why a lot of people resonate with this character, is because that spirit, they are attracted to that. You know, you could argue, and of course there's things that he does that are morally questionable. But at the end of the day, that's the heart and the intention that I think Rocky goes into everything that he does. And then of course, when he loses his wife and his child that he just found out about, like, that's the thing, and he sees his entire future and legacy kind of taken away from him, then all he sees now is how does he honor his
It
mother.
was that moment he realized, what he really, really wanted, what he really,
Yeah.
So
What'd you
when
guys think of Yash as Rocky?
I
His performance,
so I
yeah.
said this in the first one, and I'll use your question as segue into the core of my reaction to this whole chapter 2, chapter 1. I remember when we watched the first one, I was recalling an interview I saw that Jabi Kawai did of the actor Yash, and I wondered, why would he sign up for this? Right? I hadn't seen any of KGF or anything. But I think at some point you sit down with the filmmakers who are considering making you the lead of this epic movie. And you have to ask, well, where is this guy going? You know, as actors, we get scripts and we always have to ask that question. Okay, this is what happens in the first segment of this guy's story. Where's he ending? Like, what's his whole why? What's his big why? And I think when Yash overall heard and learned where this character was going and what was his main motivation, how do you not sign up for this? I think it's an easy yes when you know the whole picture. So now I know that in retrospect, right, in hindsight. So let me just say really quick how absolutely pleasantly surprised I was with the conclusion of this whole thing. You know, we're just coming off a wave here of watching Wakanda Forever for the second time, and there's this very, very, very important theme of grief and loss and mourning. And this movie takes a little bit of that theme and jacks it up like 1,000 times. Because you have the grief of a mother who has an absolute useless husband. Interestingly enough, I think the smallest character in this whole movie is also the most important character, which is the father. He is the most insignificant and yet significant person in this whole story, because if that man had owned up and actually was a great father, he would have been this young man with a wife like that, with the kind of determination and spirit to do good in the world. What kind of person would he have been? I can't help but go there with the mind that I have. So it's a bit metaphysical, so bear with me, and I know it's hypothetical, but what kind of hero and what kind of leader would he have been if he would have been a little bit less broken? Society as a whole was already broken around them. They would have been poor people rising the ranks, but still, that just rocks my mind.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the father fails. The son has to rise to his mother's determined spirit and fulfill this great promise and, in a way, prophecy. And that's kind of what we get, is the fulfillment of a powerful prophecy I think the major twist for me was that not Shanti, sorry, I never got her name. The girl he falls in love with. So I will have to. Maybe you can tell us in the comments. I never got her name, but the now mother of his child. That's such a twist that comes at the end that I think even he discovers there could be another chapter in his life, perhaps a new hope. And then it's gone. It's absolutely shattered because he gets betrayed and he knows exactly who betrayed him. So all in all, to say, pleasantly surprised. At times, the editing is still too fast. Yeah. And I think it makes it hard for a foreign audience to capture really what's happening with...
Technically, yeah.
It's a technical thing. The story is there. The performance is there. I think Yash absolutely slayed this role. Mm-hmm. I think the major flex, it was kind of out there, was that gun cigarette thing when he blows up the... But it's a statement on his character, and it was a lot of fun to watch. But there were a lot of moments that were just a little bit too hyperbolized that removed me from him a bit. But
it was worth the payoff.
It was worth the wait.
Wasn't that before the biscuit scene?
Wasn't
that after the biscuit scene?
That's what I'm talking about. When he shoots up the police for the little gold.
But biscuit. it's all that, when you get rid of all the hyperbolization, when you get rid of all that, then you have that grounded story.
I mean, it's that poetic, epic, beautiful thing that we just witnessed.
That's another thing too, is like we're seeing the visuals, but we're also reading the captions.
Yeah.
And so one thing that we're also intaking is the script.
Yeah.
And the story that was written.
Yeah.
And
yeah, man.
And for people who like action movies for this genre, I can see the appeal that people have for this character Rocky. Like the way they, I mean, just his essence, the way he speaks, like the punchlines.
There's a comedic essence to it.
Yeah.
So much. Yeah. He's like ruthless, but he's comical and, you know, I don't know. He's a great character. I could see why people are drawn to seeing this movie and to seeing him, because he was great. I think he did a great job. I haven't heard from you, Jemmy.
Yeah, a little more. You started us off. You gave us a great comparison, but I'm curious to hear what else you have to say.
Well, no, I mean, I agree with everything you guys are saying. You know, it's easy to think too with, you know, how it doesn't, you know, justify all the violence and stuff. But the truth is, in this setting, it is a very broken world. I mean, this world is broken, but this is like a even more hyperbolized version of broken. Mm-hmm. So it all makes sense, and it's like, who is the most humane out of all of them? If you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I loved it. I was honestly not looking forward to reacting to this. If I'm being 100% honest, I was like, it's just gonna be another bloodbath of, you know, Rocky just reigning supreme again. And I am very glad that I was proved wrong. Yeah. Because I am extremely happy with what they did with his character and just everything. It all made sense. It connected. I'm like, and I had hope. I really wanted him to have a good character. And I think because of the way the first one ended, it made me feel uneasy. And I was worried about what they were going to do with Rocky. But with how they emphasized more of the effect that his mother had with him, the absence of his father, and then the person that he loves. And then in the end, when he just completely loses it because he loses everything. Yeah. Like, gold didn't matter to him anymore. It was more of fulfilling the mission that his mom granted him. Mm-hmm. And that's really why he cared so much about the gold. I don't even think it was the gold itself, if you know what I mean.
Right. It was the promise, fulfilling the promise.
It was fulfilling the promise that his mother told him to do. So, I mean, I loved it. I was very unexpectedly, you know, I was very surprised, but I definitely did appreciate this ride that we went through, and I'm extremely satisfied with the way it turned out.
When you say broken, you remind me of that quote from Wakanda. I'm on the Wakanda wave, so forgive me.
They just watched it recently.
With Namor saying that the most broken people become the greatest leaders, and he definitely became that. Within the setting of this world, this very dark and desolate world, he found a way to be strangely humane. Yeah. If you think back, all of the people he killed were mostly men who were very evil men, very, very power-hungry men. Never did he strike a woman. Mm-hmm. No woman was ever killed by him.
Even
by
the
his
prime
hand.
minister, he was never there for her.
And she ultimately was his demise, ironically.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he was never going to. Strangely, he had some sort of dogmatic approach to his some sort of honorable approach to his reign, I guess is a way I could say.
Well, yeah, that's the thing though. There's a lot of great leaders, but great can also mean terrible, and you know, so it's that's what I mean. This movie, regardless of what you think of it, just brings up good conversation about morality and what is justifiable and what isn't. And that's what I think is great, is that we all are having a conversation about it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
Another thing, sorry, really quickly.
Yeah.
Another technical thing that is not a flaw, but they make the action look so effortless. Like it's like one of those things where you look at it and it's like, wow. And it's like, how did they do that?
you forget you're watching, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
You just forget you're watching a live
Truly
action.
immersed in what they're doing, and it's just, I mean, from just a viewer standpoint, I like the visuals and the lighting and the setting and the camera, and like I almost feel like they like came up like I don't know how to describe it. It's so
pleasantly
so
surprised,
creative.
yeah.
Like almost every shot is like a drawing.
Yes.
Yeah, sometimes you forget you're watching
Yeah.
a live action. It has
Yep.
an element of like, wow, this is happening.
That's why they
right now.
use
It's
almost
quite-
every shot is because it's so they're all each so intentional and so like good looking. You gotta have it in there.
Yeah, cinematically, I was taken to 300.
Yeah.
Mad Max, Gladiator. It's just
It was very well done.
And the music and the flashbacks to the mom and like the way they intertwined those scenes of the mom and the present and the past, like the way they would just move back and forth.
So
That was beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
interesting too because they all also like had emphasis with the coloring of it, where like if it was in the past it was a certain hue, and then the present, and then so the past, and then the past that the present was talking about, and then the present.
yeah, they kept us kind of in line.
jumping back and forth. Yeah.
How did you guys feel about the reporter being spared like that? And that was a surprise for me.
Yeah.
That was really
the
cool.
father at the beginning of the movie has died of a stroke. That
Was
he
actually
he
there.
was actually there. And
I actually love that because I think it
Yep.
grounded the narration even more. Instead of it just being this guy talking about it, I really liked that.
That
And,
was really
and how we kind of got to learn the story more as they did. So you know what I'm saying? Like it felt.
And yet there's that irony there that even the son is talking about how his father was an awful dad, an awful father obsessed with this one story.
So in a crazy way, I feel like the son started to relate to probably Rocky when he was
Well,
in
yeah,
the story.
the son realized that his dad was right and it was real because there was a picture of him being
Yeah.
that was taken by Rocky. It's just wow.
Yeah, man, it's incredible.
It's
guys.
really
Thank
great.
you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
Yes.
recommending this, for requesting it after so long.
Hey, really quick
and
on
for
that
your
note,
patience.
I now understand why there were so many, like, literally thousands of
Yeah.
times that we saw KGF Chapter 2, KGF Chapter 2. So continue. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Thank you for that.
Yes,
for that
thank you.
persistence.
Thank you for the persistence.
We would have
Thank you
destroyed
for
this
the
movie.
support.
We would have destroyed this movie if it wasn't good.
I'm also
Yeah.
We're not
thankful
afraid
that
to
we
do that.
waited till we were ready to receive it. I think we really gave
Yeah.
ourselves that space and time to like fully watch it and fully take it in, and it was just. I'm glad but those two things came together.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we went into this kind of expecting the worst, not knowing. And I think that the expectations that we had kind of helped us receive it for what it was and what we got pleasantly surprised by. So just thank you for your support and patience in the
Yes.
meantime. You know, you guys have been extremely patient. I've been waiting a long time. So just thank you for being just awesome and waiting for us. And now that we've watched it and experienced it, we're just happy that we got to do this with you guys. It's been quite the journey, and we definitely have learned a lot from this movie. And yeah, just thank you for taking this journey with us. Like Josh said, if you guys have just been here for the KGF journey, we hope you enjoyed and that it was worth the wait for you.
Yeah.
And if you like what we're doing here, you guys can, if you
Stick
feel like it,
around.
stick around and join us
Come back,
for
join
more.
us again.
We definitely have been talking about what the Indian reactions would look like in the future moving forward. We still plan on doing them, so don't be afraid that they're gonna disappear completely. But the reality is, work as actors and as artists has kind of been really busy right now, thank God. So it's just us trying to balance out, okay, how do we do our reactions to things in Hollywood here in America, and then to now the Indian things that we've fallen in love with, and that we have an ever-growing list off of the awesome things you guys keep recommending, as well as the creative stuff that we're doing on our creative channel. So there's a lot that we're figuring out how we're going to balance. And even as a family, as we evolve, as each one of us as individual artists, we all have ideas we're bringing to the table.
Creative is
So
where we want to be, guys.
MaJeliv is constantly, constantly evolving, and we have a lot of exciting ideas as to how we're going to make reactions new and exciting for all of us as we continue to react together. And yeah, so we have a list growing of other Indian movies that we want to see, and we'll be selective, and we'll keep you guys updated as to what the next
Hey, one day maybe we'll
will
make
be,
a movie
so.
with
Yeah, maybe one day we'll make a movie with Prasanth, is it Prasanth Real Neil?
Yeah.
And then SS Rajamouli, all these.
and Yash.
I would
Yash.
love Yash.
Yash, yeah, Yash, man, I'd love to
He's
work with
so
Yash.
cool.
You
Yash.
could be the uncle.
Yeah,
We could get there, guys.
So yeah, so regardless, we're just super grateful to have all of you guys here with us today. And if you guys enjoy what we're doing here on this channel and you want to be part of the process of what we just mentioned and how we're evolving as a channel and the goals that we have, right now our goal for this channel is to hire an editor so that we can get more videos out your way and kind of keep the flow going. If you guys want to be a part of that and help support this channel, you guys can check out the Patreon down below in the description or this card up above, where your support there monthly will help us and help MaJeliv. And you can also just check out exclusive content and you'll fund our creative projects. And you guys can check those out in the description and also at the end of this video. But again, thank you. And we'll see you guys in the next MaJeliv video. Go out there, spread your light, and have a MaJeliv day.
Bye.
Bye.